Hello, everyone. So today we're going to talk about how emotional education can be integrated into training of adults in any sector, really. So let's start with how emotional education can be integrated into adult education programs. Well, emotional education works best when it's not treated as a standalone project but integrated into everyday learning. So, for example, in leadership training, you might include modules on handling feedback or managing difficult conversations, like during annual review meetings. In healthcare training, we can build empathy during exercises that help professionals deal with patients' emotions. Even in technical fields like IT or engineering, emotional education can be part of team projects where learners reflect on collaboration, on their communication skills, and problem solving under pressure. So, what emerges from this brief review is that you can apply it universally to any sector. So, when it comes to the most important, the most relevant emotional skills, when it comes to lifelong learning and career advancement, for adults, the big ones are self-awareness, so knowing your strengths and blind spots, and emotional regulation, so staying calm under stress or under pressure. Also, empathy is key, especially in leadership and customer-facing roles. For example, a project manager who can read the room during a tense meeting, adjust the tone, and keep team motivated in using emotional intelligence in action. Resilience also matters, so being able to bounce back after setbacks like losing a client or failing an exam. So, how can emotional education help adults manage stress and anxiety? So, many adults actually juggle work, family, and studies. So, emotional education gives them tools to cope. For instance, mindfulness techniques can help a working parent stay focused during evening classes after a long day. Cognitive reframing, so learning to see challenges as opportunities, can lower anxiety before a big presentation or a job interview. So, when adults learn to recognize early signs of stress, like irritability or fatigue, they can, in time, um, cope by using these healthy strategies. So, what strategies are effective for teaching emotional intelligence to adults? So, adults respond well to practical experience based learning. So, role playing through various workplace scenarios is often very effective. For example, simulating a performance review when one person gives constructive feedback helps both parties practice empathy and regulation. Also, group discussions, case studies, personal reflection journals are also very effective tools. So many organizations now also use coaching circles where peers help each other reflect on real life challenges and their emotions in a safe and supportive space. Um, Moving on to challenges that kind of prevent companies from implementing emotional education. So one big challenge is skepticism. We very often think that emotional education, or in a broader sense, talking about our emotions, is being soft or not relevant in a workplace. So the solution is to link it directly, like the emotional intelligence training, to link it directly um, to real outcomes. For example, we can show how improving emotional intelligence can help someone negotiate better, lead teams more effectively, or avoid burnout. Time is another issue. So adult learners are busy. So these programs, in order to be successful, they need to be flexible, short, and practical. Um, so how does emotional education impact employability and career progression? So in today's market, technical skills alone are not enough. Employers are looking for people who can collaborate, who can handle feedback, manage conflict, and lead others. So, for example, a software engineer who can mentor junior colleagues and handle client frustration will be much more valuable um, than a person who only codes well. So, emotional intelligence helps people succeed in teams that bring about different challenges and personal differences. So what role do self-awareness and self-regulation play, and how they can be developed? So self-awareness helps adults understand how their emotions affect their behavior. For example, a teacher who realizes they're becoming defensive when students challenge them can choose to respond more openly. Self-regulation is also the ability to pause and choose your response instead of reacting impulsively. So these skills can be developed through feedback from mentors, peers, or supervisors, and through self-reflection exercises like journaling, for example. When it comes to best practices for assessing the effectiveness of emotional education, there are many ways to do that. You can use pre and post test training assessments to measure growth in, for example, self-awareness or emotional regulation. Some companies use 300 degrees feedback where colleagues rate each other on emotional intelligence behaviors before and after training. You can also track changes in real world outcomes. For example, fewer conflicts, improved team cohesion, or better customer satisfaction scores. How can emotional education empower better communication and conflict resolution? So when adults learn to listen actively and manage their emotions, conflicts are less likely to happen. So, for instance, in a workspace disagreement, some trained in emotional intelligence might say, I can't see you're frustrated. Let's figure out where our goals overlap. Or to diffuse this tension and open to dialogue. So emotional education also teaches people to express their own needs clearly without aggression. So it teaches you how to communicate in a way that others won't perceive as aggressive as negating their point of view. When it comes to resources that can support educators in delivering emotional education, there's a constantly growing number of resources. So trainers can take courses on emotional educations on freely available platforms like Coursera or LinkedIn Training or Learning. There are also excellent frameworks from organizations like 6 Seconds or CASEL that provide ready-made tools and assessments. Even coaching certifications nowadays include emotional intelligence modules. Also, for employees, there are apps that help adults track their emotions and practice mindfulness. So as you can see, there is a wide array of tools that can actually help you implement emotional intelligence training in your company. And you can just pick the tools that you seem the most appropriate for the results you want. So that's it. Thank you.